Hi guys, Josh Lloyd here, NBA DraftKings first look for Tuesday. It was supposed to be a 7-game slate. It's now a 6-game slate. So let's talk about those 6 games now. Before I do that, hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and why don't you drop a comment down below as well. Now let's talk about these games. The first one, the Memphis Grizzlies and the Washington Wizards. The Grizzlies, curiously, are favored by 1, and the total is pretty big, 237.5. Memphis has Kyle Anderson listed as questionable. They've also ruled Grayson Allen out. So we're likely to get another start from Desmond Bane, who's at 3,400. Now, it is hard to judge too much about this Grizzlies team, considering they won their last game by 50 against the Rockets. But Bane put up 33 DraftKings points. It was really good, and he's going to get another opportunity to do that. Ja Morant, a guy that is struggling, is down at 7,000, and I will continue to use Ja Morant at 7,000, even though his recent production hasn't been great, just 33-point average over the last 6. I will use him at 7,000 every day of the week. Denny Avdia, pretty tough to use him, considering they basically took him out of the rotation, but I tell you who's not tough to use, and that's Brad Beal. 9,700 for Bealo, who's dropping 50s like they're going out of fashion. 53 a game over the last 6, including 63 against Boston, and he's under 10,000. No idea what's going on there, but that looks like a really good option to me. Justice Winslow at sub 4,000. Now, I don't think Justice Winslow is particularly good, but for a bloke that's going to accumulate shot attempts, that's going to play 20 plus minutes in a game that might be without Kyle Anderson as well as Grayson Allen, sure. Sub 4,000 Justice Winslow, I am in on that. Russ Westbrook's at 10,000. The fact that he is priced higher than Bradley Beal makes very little sense. Now, his numbers are okay, but give me Beal literally every single day of the week. Rui Hachimura, absolutely no chance, and 6,400 for Kyle Anderson can go and piss off as well. While Brando Clark, 4,900 for Clark. The opportunity for him, if Anderson misses, he will smash. The problem being that there is a risk that Anderson does play and Clark does nothing. But there is a really big opportunity there for him. And the same goes for DeAnthony Melton. 4,600 for Melton, who, all right, DraftKings, don't tell me the positions filled. 4,600 for Melton looks pretty good to me in the absence of Allen, and that could further be enhanced if we do get Kyle Anderson sitting this one out due to illness. Next game for us to look at is a cracker, or potentially a cracker, the Clippers and the Celtics. In Boston, no spread or total out for this one. I guess the big question mark we have is Jaylen Brown, who is questionable. That's a question mark. 8,500 for Brownie. I wouldn't be using that. What I would like to do, though, is if Jaylen is ruled out, Kemba Walker at 73 would be a very, very good option. He had 43 last game without Brown, and that is a great option in a situation where he's priced under 7,500. Paul George at 8,400 looks pretty strong to me as well, as does a sub 9,000 Kawhi Leonard. 8,800 for the fun guy. I am all about that one. Jason Tatum's at 9,400. I reckon we can spend 9,400 in a better way. Is spending 4,000 on Robbie Williams a better way to spend money? I'm not sure. It is tough to gauge him on a game-by-game basis. It's only GPPs, and even then, I'm not sure the upside really merits him being a must-roster player. Same with Daniel Tice, and definitely the same with Tristan Thompson. Serge Ibaka's at 48. Last game, he was really good. The minutes had been trending down a little bit for Serge, so that's why I'm not 100% convinced that he is going to be a great option here, but he still is at least someone who's worth a crack. Next game, we look at the Atlanta Hawks, new head coach Nate McMillan, interim head coach Nate McMillan after Lloyd Pierce was fired. No spread or total out for this one, but we do have Bogdan Bogdanovic, who's on the injury report as questionable after being out for weeks with a fractured knee. Jim Butler is also questionable for Miami. Clint Capella, 8,200. Capella has been putting up big numbers consistently. I don't think that we're going to see McMillan come in and change the rotation a hell of a lot, so I like Capella there. I think Trae Young at 9,600 is probably, it's pushing towards the high side. I would rather spend it on Capella. I would rather spend it on Bam at 8,700, who is averaging 46 points over the last 3. In fact, his lowest score in his last 5 games, Bam Adebayo, is 44 points. Jim Butler's at 92. If he plays, I would use that one for sure. He has been absolutely rolling, and against this Hawks defense, why not? And then John Collins, 6,800 for Johnny. Now, we have the worry with Capella taking his rebounds and Capella taking his blocks, but 58 points, 38 the game before, 33 the game before that, at under 7,000. John Collins has got massive upside. Would I want to trust it in a cash game? Probably not. but there is real upside there. 5,600 for Fanderpants, Kevin Huerter. Bogdanovic returning could have an impact on that, so I'd be pretty hesitant. And then 5,500 for Kendrick Nunn would look pretty good to me in the situation that that Butler is ruled out. If Butler's in, it becomes a little bit more iffy, but if Butler is out, that looks to me to be a really, really good situation. The Knicks and the Spurs. That is the next game that we're going to take a look at. Back-to-back here for San Antonio. There is a possibility that Keldon Johnson returns. I wouldn't also guarantee that LaMarcus Aldridge is going to play, being a back-to-back and him returning from that hip injury. Keldon's at 5,600. They probably will manage his minutes in the first game back, so I'd be a little bit cautious about using him. I also expect Derek White to be out of this game, while Alfred Payton is doubtful for New York. So Derrick Rose is going to play a shit ton of minutes. He's going to get ground into dust by Tom Thibodeau, but not before he gives you 30 fantasy points, which I think at that salary has some value. Rowan Barrett at 5,900 also I think is a pretty good option for us to use here. He has been stepping up and shooting 46% from three in February, I believe. While Nerlens Noel, with no Taj Gibson, he's going to play as close to 48 minutes as possible. And at 5,200, I like it. Julius Randle is at 9,300. He has been remarkably consistent. His lowest score in his last 5 is 47 points. Absolutely no reason to consider him. And I also like DeMar DeRozan at his salary, which is 8,100. That does make quite a bit of sense to use him here. If we do have Aldridge ruled out, Poeltl at 6,100 would become an okay option for us. The next game is another team on a back-to-back. It's the Denver Nuggets taking on the Milwaukee Bucks, a 9 p.m. Eastern tip for this game. The Nuggets will likely be without Harris, Millsap, Green, Campazzo in this one, so expect that similar rotation to what they used on Monday. PJ Dozier at 3,200 returning from his hamstring, mainly just because I think he's going to be forced into minutes. He can become an option here. Giannis at 11,000, and I love that. That is great value from Mr. Antetokounmpo, while Monty Morris at 46 is a tournament guy, and Big Chungus Nikola Jokic at 10,8 always is a good option. He just dominates really every game. 6,700 for Mickey Porter. The only reason I'm considering it is the absences of those other guys, so he's almost forced to play big minutes. While I wouldn't want to use Drew Holiday in this one, he played just 18 minutes in his first game back from COVID, and I'm not sure they'll fully ramp him up in this one. I'll be hesitant with DiVincenzo and Portis, and of course Pat Connaughton. Everyone should always be hesitant with Pat Connaughton. The Bucks are 6.5 point favorites here, and the total is 236 points. The last game of the day, the Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers are 1.5 point favorites here, and the total is a very low 215.5. LeBron, Kuzma, and of course Jared Dudley are listed as probable, while Damian Jones is questionable. And in terms of statuses that actually matter, Dario Saric is questionable for Phoenix. Cameron Payne has seen his production drop off quite a bit, so I don't think we want to consider him, even though he's almost minimum salary. While LeBron James at 10.7 feels like it's a bit too high. DeAndre Ayton, we know he's been a disappointment a lot this season, but his price is so low, and his production is actually all right at the moment. Have a look at his last couple, 39 or 40 points, 34, 34, and at 6,700, I feel all right about that. There is no Anthony Davis in this one to cause him problems, and I also like McCall Bridges, whose steal numbers have started to go back up. His minutes are fine. There's good value in him. Chrissy Paul's at 75, and he is just dishing absolutely huge numbers of assists, which is leading to huge numbers of DraftKings points, averaging 48 DK points over his last 3. Very hesitant with Markieff Morris, Montrezl Harrell, and even Dennis Schroeder, although Schroeder at 5,700 has a level of appeal. Remember, last game for the Lakers, we didn't see much of anything from these guys because they won by about 30 points, or they're up by about 30 points really early on against the Golden State Warriors. So that is a reason why we get some limited production from a bunch of players. I know some people were calling for me to do this, just give a few early top plays, so we might as well go and do that now. In terms of some top plays for the day at this stage, I like Morant, I like Yanni, I like Dozier a little bit as a cheap option, Nerlens Noel, Desmond Bane, Derrick Rose, Monty Morris. I don't mind Brook Lopez at 4,100. Clint Capella, Nikola Jokic, and RJ Barrett. There's some names just to reel off at this point. Don't forget, guys, hit the notification bell, give it a thumbs up, drop your comments down below, and you can also check out my channel, which is tagged in the title and in the description here, Josh Lloyd Fantasy Basketball. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See ya.